This is the WWE Smackdown January 31st, 2025 full show results video which takes place at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Michael Cole is in the awkward position to welcome us to the show and hype up the Royal Rumble, as well as introducing Pat McAfee. Pat cuts a promo about his efforts to bring the Rumble to Indianapolis and talks up the city, and they toss to Joe Tessitore in the ring. He talks about his interview with Cody Rhodes last week and Kevin Owens' interruption of the broadcast later in the show demanding equal treatment, so now he'd like to give him that opportunity to be properly heard. Kevin Owens makes his entrance and Joe says Kevin's actions were egregious but made him think about what he had to say and he wants to give him his fair treatment he demands. Owens asks if this is his way of making amends, because last week all he saw was Tessitore only caring about Cody's feelings and being a little fanboy like everyone else. Joe won't apologize for his treatment of Rhodes but will apologize for the uneven treatment, but KO refuses the apology. Owens says the only reason he's here is to take the winged eagle back and he takes it off the ascender, thanks Joe for nothing, and goes to take his leave, then comes CM Punk. Owens asks if he can help him and Punk offers an apology for looking past him, but just so he knows, tomorrow when he wins the Royal Rumble, and if Kevin makes it past Cody, hell, the main event of WrestleMania could very well be Kevin Owens defending against CM Punk. And if he wins, he will be coming after the WWE Undisputed Championship, and KO says he's conflicted, because there's 29 other guys in the Rumble that he likes more than Punk, even though he doesn't know everyone that's gonna be in the Rumble, but the thought of the two of them in the main event of WrestleMania, or rather him beating CM's ass in the main event of WrestleMania, he likes that. And he knows what main eventing WrestleMania means to Punk, and how heartbreaking it was for him to get hurt last year. He says he loves thought of CM never getting to realize the dream. It gives him a warm fuzzy feeling inside to picture him old, broken, and alone, obsessing over the fact that Owens is a multiple-time main eventer while Punk goes to his grave a miserable failure. So actually, he hopes Punk doesn't win the Royal Rumble, and he goes to take his leave and Punk calls him back and congratulates him on main eventing twice and accomplishing a lot in his career, one of the best. Here's something else he hasn't done that someone else has. He, personally, CM Punk, has never lost 5 title matches at the Royal Rumble. No, that was KO. He's also never lost to Logan Paul, but Owens has, and he's never even attempted to manipulate his best friend who he stabbed in the back multiple times to help him win a title because he wasn't confident enough in his own ability, but Kevin has. Punk stands or falls on his own merits, Owens takes shortcuts. Punk says he has to win the Rumble and KO has to survive Cody Rhodes in a dangerous ladder match tomorrow for them to fight at WrestleMania, but only one thing stands in the way of Owens eating an ass-kicking tonight, and that's coming back in the ring. He bids Kev to not be afraid and to come back in the ring, but Owens walks out. The Miz is chatting with Nick Aldis in his office and he talks shit about Andrade El Idolo and turns around and of course Andrade is there, asking why he's dissing him. Miz says he's just stubborn and he could learn a lot from him if he was just willing. El Idolo challenges him, the A-lister says he'll teach him anytime, anywhere, and Aldis makes the match for tonight. Big Jim Uso is walking backstage and cuts a promo on Carmelo Hayes while Shinsuke Nakamura lurks in the background. He says if Hayes misses tonight, he's gonna dunk on him, and makes his entrance. Then we saw a match between Carmelo Hayes versus Big Jim Uso, and the result of this match was Big Jim Uso defeated Carmelo Hayes by pinfall with a schoolboy pin. The next match happened between Chelsea Green versus Mia Yim for the WWE Women's United States Championship, and the result of this match was Mia Yim won the match by disqualification when Chelsea attacks Mia by kendo stick. Post-match, she swings at Mia but Mia gets the stick from her and wallops her with it in turn. Damian Priest makes his entrance and gets on the mic and he says 4 years ago he started on Monday Night Raw and he wanted to make an impact and be known. He went from betrayer to betrayed, follower to leader, and from a nobody to world heavyweight champion. That's the past, on Raw, and now he's on SmackDown and he's not trying to make a name. Here the goal is championships, and that starts by throwing asses over the top rope tomorrow night. Then comes Samoan Werewolf, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, and Fatu says he knows who Priest is and what he's done and he's accomplished a lot more than most of those guys in the back, and they both come from the street but the difference is he was locked down in that box. Damian can get his hair braided all he wants, but don't get it twisted when he comes around him, because he's off the leash now, all gas, no brakes. The way he sees things, he and Tama Tonga are running SmackDown right now. Priest asks if that's his best shot, if he's supposed to be intimidated, and says he should know better, and since they're both from the streets, why are they even talking? Damian lays Tama Tonga out with a super kick. Jacob turns to him, a gunning grin on his face, and they circle each other briefly before laying in with punches. They brawl, Fatu gets the better of him and LA Knight makes the save. He wipes Tonga out with a chair, but Jacob knocks the chair out of his hand with a right hand. Priest recovers, Knight swats him with the chair and Fatu and Tama regroup on the floor. Then LA says they just got a beatdown and they can get it again and they like to use numbers and he's got numbers for them, 2-on-2, Street King and Megastar against Jacob and Tonga. Legado del Fantasma are chatting backstage when Motor City Machine Guns roll up and they recognize they don't like each other but they need to work together tonight. Electra Lopez tells Los Garza to look out for each other, and Santos Escobar gives them a pep talk in Spanish before telling MCMG they have their opportunity tomorrow while he and his guys are still fighting for what they deserve. Alex Shelley says they'll have Los Garza's back, Humberto Carrillo says they know how to handle themselves, and Angel Garza says if they beat DIY, they're coming for the titles. Then we saw a match between DIY and Pretty Deadly versus Los Garza and Motor City Machine Guns, and the result of this match was Los Garza and Motor City Machine Guns won the match by pinfall with a victory roll pin from Chris Sabin on Tommaso Ciampa. Back from the commercial, Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga are walking along when Tama sees DIY's tag titles on a road case and goes sniffing around. DIY appear and grab their titles and he snorts at them until they leave and DIY see Pretty Deadly and Ciampa berates Pretty Deadly for letting them down and Johnny Gargano points out that if they lost the titles, their title shot goes up in smoke, but Elton Prince tells them they're on their own. The next match happened between Liv Morgan versus Naomi, and the result of this match was Naomi defeated Liv Morgan by pinfall with a victory roll pin. Post-match, Raquel Rodriguez lays the celebrating tag champions out with a double lariat. Bianca gets the better of Liv, but when she turns to Raquel they take her out with a lung blower and a big boot. Stacking the tag champs on top of each other, and Rodriguez powerbombs Liv into them. The next match happened between Andrade El Idolo versus The Miz, and the result of this match was Andrade El Idolo defeated The Miz by pinfall with the back elbow. Backstage, Santos Escobar chats with Damian Priest, telling him it sure would be nice for him if he could count on Legado del Fantasma next time he's in trouble, but Priest isn't having it and tells him off. Damian turns around and sees R-Truth, who's glad to see him back on Raw. Damian insists it's SmackDown, but Truth says he just talked to Adam Pearce, who grew his hair out and started sporting an English accent, very distinguished. LA Knight talks to him and Priest says tonight they're allies, but tomorrow in the Royal Rumble it's every man for himself. They agree they're gonna kick heads in and Truth embraces them and welcomes them to Raw and says they should form a team. Tiffany Stratton runs into Zelina Vega backstage in Vegas, says she's gonna win the Royal Rumble and Stratton sarcastically wishes her luck with that to send us to break. Pat McAfee and Michael Cole are in the ring and introduces their guest, Tiffany Stratton, and she says the only difference between now and before the title is that everybody knows exactly how great she is. McAfee lists off women who could win the Royal Rumble and she makes yuck faces about all of them. Then comes Candice LeRae and she calls Tiffany Stratton out for betraying Nia Jax and claims she's just jealous that Nia prefers her as a tag partner, and Jax comes charging in to work Stratton over, hitting the bonsai drop. In the main event of the show, we saw a tag team match between Damian Priest and LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, and the result of this match was Damian Priest and LA Knight won the match by pinfall with South of Heaven from Priest on Tama Tonga. Post-match, Fatu takes Priest out with a super kick, a Samoan drop, and the double jump moonsault as we have to go off the air. How much you would rate this week's WWE Smackdown show? Let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching the video.